Welcome to another video from DIY Daily. Just got a new piece of kit to test out, the OTOFIX D1 Lite, powered by Autel. I've had this unit a couple of weeks now. It's just given me a chance just to get to grips with using it a little bit. So I've had a good go with it, tested it on quite a few vehicles. Just thought it was time now to just run through a quick review on it and just run you through some of the functions. I've been quite impressed with it. It's a really nice little bit of kit. I'll just run you through quickly the unit, what you get in the box and everything, and then I've got a 2016 Ford Ranger here that I've plugged it into. I'll just run you through some of the functions that's available on this. As you can see, the unit itself, it's a really nice size, quite a nice compact little thing. It's a real nice bit of kit to keep in the truck with me as well. You can see how thin it is there. It's quite simple to use. It's just a touchscreen pad. The only real functions on the outside of it, we've just got an on-off button there. Just got this little lift-up cover there, which you've got a little port there for the SD card, the USB adapter plug there, and then USB-C for the power supply there as well. But other than that, the only other pieces on the device is just the camera on the back there. But it comes in a nice sturdy moulded plastic case. Just see it's got the OTOFIX label on there. Now, I've not used an Autel based machine before, so it's quite nice to get to grips with it and just see how it compares to some of the other machines that I've had a go with in the past. But you can just see it just got a nice little centre section here that just straps in. It just straps into just to hold it secure. Real basic set of instructions with it, just telling you what comes with it and a basic run through of what's in it. It's dead easy to set up. It didn't take me long, literally a couple of minutes just to get the device registered, that's all, and just run through setting your email up and everything to it. Other than that, it's got the charger plug there. We've just got a USB-C, the power supply with it there, and then there's a USB multi adapter there as well. So, but other than that, the main thing what we're looking at really is just the device itself. I'll just run you through the functions on the actual device, and then we'll plug it in and just run you through actually just checking some of the options on the car. But just looking at it, basically you've got the main diagnostic option there. I'm not going into that yet. I'll go into that once we've run through it. But that's where the main thing that you're going to want to use just to go into the vehicle and just do like a full scan and everything. So that's on there. The service option is where you'll go to do all the additional functions, like if you're doing an oil reset, setting the handbrake back, doing any DPF regen work, coding injectors. We'll run through that in a bit more detail in a minute, just show you some of the functions on there. We've got the main settings menu, which obviously just got all the options on there. I'm not going to run through that too much, but it's just basically all the settings with the screen and everything like that, the auto updates, language, everything like that. We've got data manager, which is the area where you can put all your photos and everything like that. That's all stored in there. Now, battery test. This is for an additional piece of kit that you can get that links to the device for doing some battery test work. We've got the VCI manager there, which is just running through the connection and everything with the little VCI module. I'll just get the module out as well just to show you. It's a Bluetooth dongle, quite a nice size bit of kit. It has got a USB-C function connector there as well, so you can connect directly with that. Nice little function with it as well. If you just press and hold the button there, it has got a torch, which is always quite nice if you're trying to find the EOBD plug and it's tucked under the bottom of the column there. It's always nice sometimes just to use a little torch just to have a look for that. So I'll just get that plugged back in. So after that, we've got the update screen there, which is where you just run all the updates to keep it updated. We've got the Maxi viewer there, which is just for like an information centre there that you can go on. And we've got a support network, the OEM authorization, remote desktop just to connect it up to a desktop PC. Maxi tools is a link to some additional functions that you can get from Autel there. Just click on that, I'll just show you. Just see a bit of information in there. We've got a quick link which is referring to information on the internet, user feedback. We've got the Autel user centre there as well. And just scrolling across to this side, you've got a search function there. And then on the bottom options, we've just got this little button there, which just takes you to like the It's obviously Android based desktop there. You can see we've got a quick link to Chrome. Obviously you can put some other apps on there if need be. You can set up your email with it. It's got a link straight to AutoFix, the Maxi Tools link, and the quick support as well. And again, a settings menu in there. Then we've got this, obviously, which just is a quick reference to the windows that you've got open. Again, another quick link to Google Chrome. Just click on that, it'll just take you straight to a web browser. Then we've got the camera function. So we've got that sat down on my trousers, but it is quite a good quality camera on it. You can see it's quite a nice, decent picture on there. Then we've got some settings for the brightness there. You've got the VCI, the BAS, which is the battery test module, which is an additional piece of kit that you need to buy if you want to link that to it. And then we've got two quick references at the bottom here, one for the diagnostic and then one for the service function again as well. So, but for now, I'll just run you through, starting on the diagnostic, and just show you how it works. But yeah, I've had a couple of weeks to use this now. I've plugged it into quite a few different cars. I've been really impressed with it, to be fair. It's a nice little kit. You can see it looks quite polished little unit. But just running on the diagnostic function there. Now, you can go into everything manually. You've got your quick reference along the top there, just to narrow it down if you want. But it does have the full automatic VIN search. So if you just go on that and just do auto detect. Obviously we've got it plugged in. I'll just scan through. I'll just speed through this while it searches and comes up and up. You can just see there, it's just recognise the chassis number. Just select OK. You can see there, it's come up with the details. Ford Ranger, 3.2 litre. Just confirm that it's the right one. Then we've got auto scan, which will basically do a full scan, or you can do a control. You go into the control unit. For just to show you, I'll go back out of this in a minute. We'll do a full scan on it, and you can go into the individual ECUs. So you can see it's really nicely laid out, depending on which ECU you want to go in with. You want to go in the engine ECU, the ABS, the airbag module, and they're all listed on there. But just to show you on this one, we'll just do a full scan. Always like to do a full scan. It does take a little while to do this. Obviously, there's with this being a later Ford, there is quite a few different ECUs to read. So I'll just speed through this just so you're not waiting. But it's not too long. It's what you expect out of a full scan. It's pretty much the same as most of the diagnostic machines that I've used time-wise in doing the scan. So. Right, so we've done the full scan there. Now, so obviously I just sped through that a little bit. But what it does, it was quite nice as well. Anything with faults in it, it always puts to the top of the list. So it just stands out dead nice and clear. And the ECU with the most faults, from what I've seen as well, also seems to go to the top. So you can see it's put the engine control module at the top there, 5 faults in it. And we've got another couple of modules with some faults in there. But it has read all the others. But you can just see there's no faults in any of these. This has got some faults with the glow plugs that I know about. But if we go into that, you can go directly into the engine ECU. Then we'll get a new screen come up. And basically you've got ECU information that you can click on. You can go in to read the fault codes, erase the fault codes, or the live data. So if we go and read the fault codes, I'll just give you the option there. So now it's loaded up as well. There are some options along the top that you can see. You can print it, save it. There's a settings option there. But they've got the faults that are recorded in there now, these glow plug faults. So I know that this does need some glow plugs in it, so that's a job that we've got to do. Obviously from this stage, you can just go back out of that. And you can, just go back again. And then you can just erase the fault codes. And then we can go into the live data directly from the engine ECU as well. Obviously this function is available for all the different ECUs, so you're going to get the same in the ABS, the airbag, Obviously in the ABS ECU, if you go onto live data, we'll just run through that in a minute, but you can check all the wheel speeds and everything like that. And just see the data's come up now. Now I'm not going to run through this on every single ECU. Obviously there's a lot of stuff on there, so you could go on for hours and hours, but basically it's got all the functions of all the top end machines. It will list the same data as what some of the other machines do. Basically we've run a Snap-on machine as well, and all the information, all the actual data that's available on the Snap-on machine is exactly the same as what's available on this machine. So obviously this machine's a lot less than that one. But you can just see, just looking through there, I'll just have a quick scan through, just showing you everything that's on there. And when on each individual one as well, if you go onto it, so say if we was on the air charge temperature there, you can just click the little down arrow. It's really nice and simple to access, and you can change it to like a graph function. Depending on what you're reading, obviously you might want to look at it in a different way. And then you can have like a freeze frame, record a section. There's loads of different options to your data, which is always quite nice depending on what you're looking at. If you're looking for boost faults, fuel pressure faults, you might want to be looking at this in like a graph format while driving down the road. So you can see there's a lot of options on there. Just see, this is an alphabetical order, so you can see just how much stuff you can read the information on, which is really handy. Sometimes you really need the actual data. When you're looking at faults, it's not always clear with the fault code that you've got, so sometimes you really need to be looking through the data and checking the information at certain sensors and stuff to see what they're reading. It's quite a common issue on some of the Fords, on the Transits, where it doesn't actually, it'll not rev over 2000 RPM, it'll be stuck in limp mode. Doesn't actually log a fault code, and they actually have a common issue with the fuel temperature sensor in the pump. And if you go into the data and you look at the fuel temp actual reading, you can see that the reading's often on -40 or about 100 degrees, whereas it doesn't, and it'll be on that, but it doesn't actually log a fault code. So the only way to find it out is to actually go into the data and look at the actual reading. And just see just how much is on there. It's got all the fuel pressure information, literally everything you need to know on the engine is all on there. Airflow meter readings. So I'm not going to scan through that too much because it's got everything on it that you're going to need on there. If we go back out of that. And just to show you, I'll just go on the ABS and just show you the data that's available on there as well. I always like to just scan on sort of the engine and ABS for review because they're the most sort of common ones that you're likely to be using, really. And just see we've got the pressure there. You've got your wheel speeds there, and you can obviously select, you could select like 4. We've now selected all 4. You can put them out into your own screen there. Obviously this is for the wheel speeds, and if you put that on the graph, you can see them all on a graph, so you can drive down the road. If you've got an ABS fault, you'll be able to see which one's flagging up there. If you've got one that's got like a incoherence on the speed and it's not quite recording right, if you might have a cracked ABS ring or an issue with the wiring, it's nice to look at sometimes when you're driving down the road, because sometimes these faults can be a little bit intermittent, and you might just see a little glitch on one of the wheels now and again, which will just point you in the right direction of which one's faulty and which area to look at. That so if we go back out of that now, we go back to the home screen. So you can see on the diagnostic, I've been really impressed with the bit of kit. It's really nice to use, dead simple. It's got all the functions on there of the top end machines. It just took me a little while to get used to it. Each machine's a bit different, but once you had to play about with it, it's really simple to use. So it's always nice. You don't want them to be too complicated. And then if we go into the service, let's exit out of there first. So we'll now go into the service option. And now this is where you'll do all the different functions, like any DPF work, handbrake work or anything like that. But if we just show you've got oil reset for the service light if it's got that function on it. Parking brake, if it's got electronic parking brake, you can use this to set that back. We've got the DPF information on there, injector coding, information, the battery monitoring system there. Steering wheel, if there's anything relating to the steering wheel or airbag, you can run that through there. Anything to do with the headlamp, TEC learn there. If it's got a variable turbo, if there's any learning functions on there, that can all be done through it. Any EGR options. If we just go back just to the main ones again, I'd like to show you the main sort of common things that you're likely to use really, but obviously modern cars, we do a lot of DPF work. If we just go into that now, you can do a scan on that there. Again, just confirm the chassis number. And then from this screen, you can go into the diagnosis, which is basically like what was in earlier on, where you read the fault codes, or anything like that. Go into the profile. If you go into the hot functions there, this is basically where you're going to be doing all the different options. And again, I was sort of comparing this to our snap-on machine and one of the other machines that we've had, a Bosch machine, and all these functions is exactly the same as what's available on them top end machines, which is really impressive for this bit of kit. Say this is a light version as well, it's got a lot of stuff on it. But we can see we've got the option to do a DPF regen on there, so we can run through a full regen. We've got all the options for resetting the DPF learn values, the sensor learn values. If you've refitted a new sensor, you always need to reset the pressure sensor values. It just makes this kit really nice for anyone that's attempting to do any sort of repairs. On modern stuff, you can't just refit this, can't just replace the sensors anymore. There's often a lot of options that you need to be running through on a diagnostic machine after. So if we go back out of that, I don't think this has coded injectors on it, but if we just go into the injector there, automatic search again. Yeah, so on this one for the injectors, the options that you've got is the correction factors and reset the fuel injection learn values. It's quite common on Fords to see this sort of option. We've done a lot of work on transits where we've had to run through that as well. But all the options are there for anything, pretty much anything that you need to do. So it's not, I've not had really anything that I haven't been able to do on this device that we've got that I've been able to do on our snap-on machine or some of the other machines that we've got as well. So overall, I've been really impressed with it. I've not had any hiccups with it or anything. I said I've used it for a couple of weeks now, so it'd be nice to continue using it and see how it goes. But I hadn't used an Autel based machine up to this point, so it's been quite nice to use that. And so things are laid out a little bit differently, but I've been really impressed with it so far. just on the main screen. It just give you the time and the battery life of it as well. And the battery life seems to be quite good. I haven't really had to charge it many times at all, and I generally do just leave it on, and you can just press and hold the button to power it off, but I normally just do one tap of it just to shut it down there. But it's as you can see, yeah, it's a nice size little bit of kit. It's not too big. You can and obviously with it being a Bluetooth dongle on it, you can just have the Bluetooth in there, and you can sit in the cab, or you can sit under the bonnet and just have the monitor there resting on the engine bay while you're looking at certain things as well, which is always quite nice. I do like sometimes when the dongles are wired, it does, if it's a really busy environment, the only thing you can do if you're not careful is obviously leave the dongle in the car. But you'll notice it's got a really bright light on it, which does stand out. It's always a nice little reminder. And also, every time you exit out of the diagnostic function, it does just bleep and just give you a prompt reminder just to remove the device as well. But yeah, overall, really impressed with it. And if you want to check out the device, I'll put a link to it in the description below and at the end of the video as well, if you want to check that out. But the other thing, I definitely like the fact that it comes in this hard moulded case. One thing that really bugs me is when you get anything and it comes in a case that's not very strong, the unit barely fits in it. I always think with tools and stuff like that, you want a case that you can just drop it into every time. You don't want some of this awkward to pack away where you have to take the connector out or anything like that. But with this, obviously your leads are always just slotted in there. You don't really need them out unless you're charging it, and all you've got to do is just open the strap up and clip it in, so it's really nice and easy. But yeah, overall, really impressed with a bit of kit. So, but yeah, hope you liked the video. If you did, give it a quick like and subscribe to the channel. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.